What's up, guys? Michael Chandler here. Let's talk about the basics of bench press. The bench press is probably one of the most foundational movements, upper body movements that you can do here in the gym. It's also one of the favorites. People love the bench press. The funny thing about it is I've been a professional athlete now, or training at a high level now for 14 years, and people still ask me, hey, what's your bench press? Because it's somewhat of a rite of passage having a big number, a sturdy bench press. Being good at the bench press is somewhat of a feather in your cap. I don't do a ton of bench press for high weights. I don't do a 1 rep max. I'd rather be explosive and functionally strong pushing. But what are the basics of the bench press? And we're gonna go over those today. So I'm, for instructional purposes, throwing 95 on the bar. But first thing is, obviously you throw your weights on. Collars. Make sure you use collars. The only reason that you might possibly not use a collar is if you are by yourself and you're lifting heavy, or you're lifting to exhaustion, you're lifting to failure. Not using a collar would give you the opportunity to deload those weights if you did in fact get caught underneath it. But 99% of the time, you're gonna wanna use your collars and you're gonna load the bar up. First things first, just like your back squat, just like any other barbell movement, where is the barbell? Where are you in relation to the barbell? Where is your grip? Is it balanced? Is the weight correct? I know you guys have seen that. I've actually done it before. If you've lifted for any long periods of time, there has been a set that you have realized you did it and you looked over there and you had 5 pounds more on this side, 10 pounds more on that side. So make sure it's the right weight on the bar, making sure you use your collars. Bench press is set up. Where is the bar? Obviously, we have the hangers here on our big Arsenal Strength rack. Is the bar in the middle? Now, you're working out at your 24-hour fitness, your local gym. You're gonna go up to a bench press like this, a setup like this. The last person probably didn't think, since they were done and they were getting ready to move over to some other kind of exercise, they weren't worried about where the bar was. Now, as you start over and take control of this barbell, or take control of this rack to do your bench press, you're gonna wanna make sure the bar is in the right place. Pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, you can see here, it is kicked over to my left. It would be my right if I was on the bench press, or on the bench. Make sure it's lined up properly. Now, looking at the bar, what we have here, we have the knurling, this kind of sandpaper texture, if you will, to give more grip. We also have a non-knurled part of the bar right here, where you can kind of use as a gauge, a North Star, if you will, for where you're gonna end up putting your hands. You're gonna want this bar eye level. So that means you want your eyes directly underneath the bar. So there needs to be enough space with the bench so you have that structure behind, and your head is resting on the bench, so you can get your whole body involved on this bench press. For instance, I have it set up perfectly right now because I was doing bench press earlier. But for example, if said bench was a little bit too far forward, if I got my eyes underneath the bar here, my head is not fully resting on the bench. I'm gonna want every single aspect of my body, from the back of my head, my back touching, glutes touching, feet on the ground, to be able to drive this bench press. So make sure that bench is set up deep enough into the rack to where you can set your eyes below it. You can set your eyes below it, get set up and bench press. So where do we wanna be here? Where is our arm position? Where are our hands positioned? Somewhat of this is comfortability. You gotta remember too, everybody's taller, everybody is shorter, everybody is bigger, everybody is wider, longer arms, shorter arms. So what I am about to show you isn't perfect for everybody, but a general rule of thumb. Where do we want our elbows placed? That's one of the biggest mishap that you can have on a bench press. And I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'm sure I have been guilty of it in the past, but sometimes our elbows can come way too out this way, okay? They can come way too out here, and now you are putting yourself in danger of messing up the rotator cuffs, AC joints, if you lose that bar, or even just a normal rep set on the normal path that we're gonna teach you here today. Those elbows are too far out. You're really putting yourself in danger of hurting the AC joint and the rotator cuff. Our elbows don't wanna be way out. They also don't wanna be way in here. You don't wanna take the bar and bring it all the way in here. There are uses for that. But for the traditional bench press, you're gonna want them kind of right there in the middle, not way out, not way in, kind of in that 75 degree, if you will. And to know where you're gonna put your hands, you almost need to do a fake rep or a naked rep, if you will, without the bar, as if I'm holding the bar, elbows where they need to be, they come down and they come up. That's about where my hands want to be on the bar. So for me, it is about, and for most people, it will be about that ring finger on that mark, okay? For me, that's always just been kind of my anchor point, ring finger on the bar. Where do I put my hands? I've seen people obviously do the non-thumb grip. It always gave me the heebie-jeebies. It looks cool, but it always gave me the heebie-jeebies because yes, of course, without having your thumb stuck in there, that bar could fall forward and it's falling right on your face, neck, chest, no bueno. Locking that ring finger on that mark and then bringing the thumb underneath. And then I think the biggest thing here is making sure the weight isn't rotated too far back because you can see it's gonna mess up, it's really gonna mess up my wrist there. And you also wanna make sure it's not too far forward. You really, just like any overarching principle with mechanics of lifting, you want your body to be moving in the general direction that it was designed to move. So if I'm trying to take this bench press, if I'm trying to take this bar straight off of me, I want my hand to be stacked over my wrist to be stacked over my elbow, and my elbow to go down to the ground, bar touches the chest, and then I can press it up. Okay, so hand stacked over the wrist stacked over the elbow, elbow at that 70-75 degree, going down and pressing it up. Ring finger on the mark, making sure that bar, as I said, that arm is in a straight line, not too far rolled forward, not too far rolled backward to put undue pressure, undue stress on the wrist. And then from here, as we said, that bar is over my eyes. I want it to go up and I want it to come down toward my chest. So it's almost gonna go in this angle a little bit and then press it back over my eyes, okay? So obviously I can't lift it straight up and bring it straight down to my eyes because it has to come off of the rack here. One thing I like to think about too is, as I've said, we want the bar over the eyes, but we can pull ourselves out toward the end of this rack and roll it forward. You're always gonna get a couple inches of roll here. If it's a little bit above your eyes, I like it a little bit above my eyes, maybe a little bit north of the bridge of my nose, if you will, almost eyebrows, just to give myself that press where I can really go forward with it. So I come down to my chest and then come over my eyes, and nobody likes to hit these racks. We've all seen it, messes up the reps. You might be about to do the biggest bench press of your life and all of a sudden you hit it and it messes up your whole life. But that's neither here nor there. So here we are, we got our good grip, hand stacked over our wrist stacked over our elbow, and arm at that 75 degrees, not too in, not too out. And we want to bring it down to that sticking point, which is going to be almost that nice 90 degrees. Make sure it's straight up. When I say 90 degrees, I mean straight up like this. You don't want your elbow too far out. You don't want it too far in. Locking it up. Last thing, most importantly, strong structure of the entire body. Yes, this is a chest exercise. Yes, we are using our arms. We are using our arms and our chest to press it off, but your feet are involved. Your glutes are involved. We're locking our core involved. My head is pushing off the back of the bench. I see some people lift their head. Sometimes they use that as a cue to lift their head on the way down just so they can press off of the bench on the way up. This bench is your friend. This bench is helping you lift this weight. So my feet are underneath me, okay? If my feet are way out, they're not involved. We've all seen people throw them up here. Looks cool and it's definitely gonna isolate the chest. But if I'm really going for a heavy bench press and I really wanna get as many reps as I possibly can, make sure I get the most out of my, my workout, I want those feet digging into the ground so I can use them, and I'm squeezing the glutes. Your pelvis should come up a little bit, not because you're lifting off of your toes, but because you are squeezing the glutes, and the pelvis is coming off of the bench a little bit because of the glutes firing. Rolling it forward. Here we go. Now, bar path. I don't want it to come straight down to my eyes. I don't want it to come to my belly button. I want to kind of come right to the bottom of my chest. So you're gonna see this bar path come up. It's gonna go toward my feet a little bit to the sternum, then it's gonna press back over my eyes. Lift, everything locked in. As you can see, my arms are straight, everything locked in, locking my core, squeezing my glutes, pushing off of the ground. Breathe in, press up over my eyes. Breathe in, press up over my eyes. Once again, I always talk about this on all of the different ways that we're lifting, whether it's a barbell, whether it's a dumbbell. I am squeezing this bar. Okay, I'm not loosely holding the bar. The more I squeeze it, the more I'm creating that mind-body connection that I am in control of the bar. The bar is not in control of me. I have control of the bar. I'm squeezing it to the sternum, breathing in, press out. Remember, breathing is very, very important. I've done it, you've probably done it. Breathing in on the way down, pressing on the way up. Thinking in your mind, one thing I like to say, get off of me. Get off of me. Get off of me. So, although it is a chest exercise, although it's an upper body movement, we're getting our feet planted firmly in the ground, squeezing through the legs, all the way up to the knees, up to the quads, up to the glutes, locking that core in tight and really isolating that chest on every single one of those reps. In a bench press, we're focusing mainly on the chest. So why wouldn't we think about firing that chest? So especially at the top of that rep, squeezing it. Right now, you're squeezing my pecs, making them as tight as possible. So not only are we pressing through those muscle fibers, through every single one of those reps, but I get to the top and squeezing. Okay, so I hope this helps. Bench press, very basic, but a very good foundational movement, a very good foundational lift, and it's the one that people like the most. What do you squat? What do you bench? I'm not saying you're a better human being because you got a better bench press, but it's definitely something that people like to work on, and it's a feather in your cap. So make sure the bar is set up correctly. Make sure your hands are set up correctly. Make sure, most importantly, your elbows are in the right position to protect your shoulders. We all want to get fit. We all want to get stronger. We all want to get more healthy, but you can't do any of those things if you get injured. So hope this helps. If you guys enjoyed it, throw some comments in the comment section below. Myself and my team, we are listening, and tell us what you guys want to see next. Let's break down a bunch of workouts. Let's break down a bunch of different movements. I've spent the last 20-something years focusing on fitness and health and wellness and becoming the best version of myself, and I want to help you do that. God bless. I'll see you at the top.